My name is Adriana Martinez and this video is for the course Teaching English to Adolescents and Adults and is for the final exam. In this opportunity, I'm going to be explaining a lesson plan that I designed for both adolescents and adults using different printed and online resources that we can apply in an English class. So let's start. In this chart, you can see the basic explanation of the lesson plan with each statement: the warm-up, the presentation, the practice part, the production, the assessment, and the assignment. However, I'm going to be explaining every single part in a deeper way with what resources, how much time, and what is the objective of the whole lesson plan. This lesson plan is focused for 7th grade and is based on the topic past simple. As main aim, it has to understand and use past simple structures in oral and textual productions about past events. And it has 3 specific objectives. The first one is to talk about events in daily normal conversations. The second is to revise regular and irregular verbs in the past form. And the third is to ask questions about your past activities and your weekend. So the first stage of our lesson plan is the warm-up. It has a timing of 10 minutes and we are going to use 4 different resources, which is a poster, a computer, board, and markers. In this opportunity, the teacher shows a poster where the students can see the activities made by a person in the past days. With the poster, it has to explain the meaning of the time expressions yesterday and last weekend. And also, it has to model the principal word question of the lesson plan, which is what did they do, both in yesterday and last weekend. This poster is an online resource that I'm going to show now with an image. Then we have the stage of the presentation, where the teacher is going to show the topic and explain it to the students. The teacher has to explain the simple past verb tense. He shows a chart that he used to explain the structures of this verbal tense, giving examples and the reason why it's used. The teacher shows the verbs must be used in past, explaining their classification in regular and irregular verbs, giving specific examples for the students to understand it in the best way. It has a timing of 20 minutes and the resources applied are a chart, board, and markers. This chart is going to be shown now with an image. Then we have our practice stage. In this opportunity, the students are going to review the topic that they learned in the presentation and practice with different exercises. The timing is of 25 minutes and the resources are board, markers, and a workshop. The teacher writes on the board some sentences in simple past, but the sentences have to contain some mistakes or misspelling elements. Then the teacher asks to the students to analyze the sentences and compare them to the learned structures about verbal tense and past. After that, the teacher asks some volunteers who will rewrite the sentences on the board with the correct order, correcting the different mistakes that they found. An example could be the sentence, she didn't work at last Sunday, and the student has to understand that the verb is misspelled, it doesn't need the ed part, and he has to correct it. The second activity in the practice stage is to present workshop. Here I have it. This is the workshop. It's pretty simple. It just has a reading that they have to complete using the verbs in the gaps. They have to conjugate the verbs in regular or irregular in past form. And finally, they have to classify the verbs used in regulars and irregulars. This activity, they can make it as groupal activity working in peer groups. And it's of course a printed resource. Then we have the production stage. In this stage, the timing is of 40 minutes because it's a bigger practice where they don't have the teacher's help. They have to do it by their own, and it's a bigger assessment or activity. The resources are computers, internet, and the web tool online called Padlet or wallpaper. This is an online website where you can post different notepads and post in with creativity and images and links to different things. In this stage, the teacher asks students to create a notepad where they are going to write a test talking about what they did yesterday and last weekend. For this, the teacher is going to provide the students with internet connection and a technological device that they can use to access to the web tool Padlet, where they will post their notes. The teacher also has to model the activity showing how to use the web tool and the format they can use to write their notes. For example, they need to say, last Saturday I went to a soccer game, and on Sunday I made breakfast and I went bike riding, and so on. Now I'm going to show an image of what will be the final result in the notepad using Padlet. Then we have the assessment part. This assessment has a timing of 15 minutes, and the only resource is a ball and the already knowledge that the students acquire. The lesson will be reviewed through a summative evaluation, and the teacher models a game where he throws a ball to one of the students and makes the question, what did you do yesterday or last weekend? Here is it. What did you do yesterday or last weekend? But options. And the student has to answer it according to the knowledge that they learned during the lesson. Then that same student has to throw the ball to another partner and continue with the game, making the same questions until every single student has answered the questions. And finally, we have the assignment stage. Of course, it's going to be present in the next class as the last production exercise in this lesson plan. The only resource is the same web tool Padlet that was used in the production stage. In this opportunity, the students have to write an anecdote about something that happened to them in the past. It doesn't matter the topic. It can be something about mystery, about romance, about family story, funny moment. It doesn't matter what it's about, but I think it has to be placed in the past. And the students have to use the structures and vocabulary that they learned in class, like the time expressions, the verbs, in the regular and irregular forms, and everything. Also, remember to the students that they need to post the anecdote in the same notepad that they created for the production exercise. But in this opportunity, they have to combine it with images and more resources to make it more creative and show a representative collage for the anecdote. This is basically my lesson plan. Thank you so much for listening and watch the video. Bye!